Hey guys, alright. Hey guys, I wanted to make this video just to celebrate my 5 years being plant-based, and I wanted to walk you guys through how I got started and why I really started this journey. And I'm super excited. I feel so good. It's like 5 years, is a long time to not eat meat, but I just feel like I'm just getting started. It's the most amazing thing ever. I have so much fun, cooking plant-based and just teaching people around me about so many of the fun things that you can do when you just don't eat meat. You can just be so creative. So I really wanted to make this video to share some tips and some really great ways that I stayed on track. So as far as me getting started with eating plant-based, it all started, I would say, let me take it back. So when I was in high school, my first encounter with someone completely vegetarian was I had a friend, a close friend, and her mom basically was vegetarian. So I was at her house one day and she was saying that, yeah, my mom, she doesn't eat meat, and so she cooks this for herself, and then she'll cook the meat and stuff for the family. And I was just like, okay, that's interesting. And I just never gave it too much thought. I just continued on with life. And then later on, I had a coworker who was really into veganism and just really all about health empowerment. So he challenged us to a 30-day vegan challenge. And then that was my first real challenge of really understanding what veganism is, and basically, really basically figuring out, okay, so to be vegan is to completely cut out all animal products. And that's even the smallest thing. And then through that journey, I learned a lot. It was one thing in particular that really turned me off, was the topic of gelatin. And there's people who say they don't eat pork, and not eating pork was a good start. You may think you're not eating pork just by simply not eating the meat that you see as pork, but there's a lot of items that they put pork in, and gelatin is basically ground up meat, pork items, hooves, cow hooves, just everything you could think of, and basically it forms that gelatin substance. And that really got me thinking about, what the heck are they putting in our foods that we just don't know? And so I just, from there, after my 30-day challenge, I went back to eating meat, but I was really cautious about other things that I would eat. Basically, one day I said, I'm not gonna eat meat anymore. I remember my very last meal that I had, and I think it was a pretty good meal to just go off and not eat meat ever again, was a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. I was in the drive-thru and I was like, you know what, I'm never eating meat again. And I ate my lunch, and I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. So that was the start of my journey. I can't recall what source I used to help me become plant-based, and I remember at the very beginning of it, I said, okay, I can never be vegan because it is so much. It's like it's everything that you consume, anything that you wear has to be free of animal products. And then as you research veganism, it's a practice. It's something where even the hair products that you use, even the clothing that you wear could be made out of animal products. And so I just thought that was overly complicated to me. So I just began to consistently, move with the plant-based lifestyle. Now at the beginning stages, I pretty much still consumed dairy products because I had not really I didn't know how to navigate through that. And so I didn't know what to do. So I would go home and make a bunch of grilled cheese sandwiches, because I always love grilled cheese. And so I would pretty much make like 3 cheese grilled cheese sandwiches, and it would be so good. And then, you know, I was always on the go with work and school, so I didn't know where to eat, where to go, like to get a quick meal. So I pretty much would go to like fast food restaurants and get french fries and just try little quick things that I can eat. And so I gained a lot of weight the first couple of years that I started plant-based, because I had no clue. And then so I just had to start really researching. I started to follow certain folks who were vegan and watch what they were doing. And then Pinterest was really my favorite, because I really wanted to start cooking foods that I knew I loved before, but of course make it plant-based. So anytime I was craving something, I would say, you know, I really want some spaghetti. So I said, how can I make spaghetti without meat? And so I just looked up on Pinterest some really cool substitutes, and honestly, it tastes so much better. You know, I added like peppers, onions, like all the fixings you can think of, but it just didn't have meat in it. So that was my whole thing. Now, funny thing, at the beginning stages, you know how there's like plant-based meat substitutes now, a lot more than when I first started. But at the time, there were like, you know, meatless meatballs and things like that, but I just could not get myself the courage to try it. But one day I finally did. I said, I'm gonna make some plant-based meatballs with my spaghetti. And I had the plant-based meatballs. This was early on, so my taste palette was still changing. And I ate a meatball and I just could not continue to finish my meal because it tastes so closely to a meatball, and I was not ready for that. So I would definitely encourage you, if you are starting your journey, stay away from the meatless substitute items. Like, just, you know, just keep that out of your refrigerator, your pantry, for just a little while. Start learning how to cook with veggies, grains, things like that, and spices. That's going to be your go-to. You want to really learn how to cook with spices. But that wasn't a good thing. And then from there, I said, you know what, I'm going to make my own meatballs. So I started to look up recipes that had mushrooms in it, black beans, and, you know, certain spices and herbs that was able to make that taste like a meatball. And so that really worked out pretty well. And another interesting situation that happened was I was dabbling in non-dairy cheeses. Prior to me stop eating meat, I actually had already started to incorporate almond milk and soy milk and things of that nature. So it was almost like I was preparing to be plant-based but didn't really know it. So I already had non-dairy milk. I knew that was the better choice. But basically, when I became plant-based, I said, okay, I can't eat cheese anymore. I'm done with cheese. Let me try something else. So I went to the grocery store, and I saw, at the time, I saw that Daiya cheese was like the most popular one, and I would see it all the time in the grocery store. I'm thinking, okay, it must be really good if it's, you know, always here and it looks like people buy it. So I got so excited, and I went home and I made like this, you know, meatless, plant-based baked ziti. And so prior to, you know, me not eating meat, I would love to make baked ziti with all the fixings, sausage, all of that. And so I made a baked ziti with all plant-based ingredients, and oh my gosh, when I tell you I was so ready to eat that baked ziti, I cut a slice and I made it with the Daiya cheese. Cut a slice, sat down to watch TV and eat my food, and took a bite of that and was like, oh no, this is disgusting. Daiya cheese is disgusting. Now, this was a while ago. I don't know if they made any like changes to their recipe, but it was the worst cheese ever. So I said, okay, no more. I'm not eating any more non-dairy cheeses. And so for a short while, I didn't eat any non-dairy cheeses. So when I would order pizza or make a pizza, it would have no cheese on it, but it will have all the fixings, just no cheese, which is actually pretty good. You guys should try it. You would think, oh, pizza without cheese, is that even real? It's real. You can literally have pizza without cheese, and It tastes absolutely amazing if you, of course, you put the right toppings on there, things that you love, because it's all about, of course, food tasting good. It's not, you don't want to make anything that's not good. So anyway, let's talk about how I transitioned. So the biggest thing about transitioning into plant-based is you really want to focus on slowly but surely and staying consistent with your goal of removing all animal products from your kitchen. So that means basically any dairy products, any eggs, cheese, butter. You want to kind of transition those things out of your kitchen, use them up, don't waste any food, use them, and then when you're done, throw away the containers and start replacing that stuff with non-dairy items. So they sell non-dairy butter, that's really good. They sell, you know, non-dairy milk, non-dairy cheese. I actually did a really cool video of some of my must-haves in my pantry. When you guys are done watching this video, please go and watch it. That could be a way that you could find out, you know, how to incorporate some things into your kitchen and your pantry, and then move some things out. That's the biggest thing, is you're going to be cooking a lot, so you have to have the ingredients that is necessary. So when you're cooking, you're going to run into certain ingredients that you don't have. You're just not going to have it. Certain spices that I ran into that I had no clue of. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but if it comes to me later, I'll definitely let you know. But there are certain spices that I had never cooked with before, and a lot of ingredients were asking for it. And I was just like, okay, let me just go ahead and get this spice. It could be a little pricey, but you know you're going to be using it a lot. I would say one ingredient that I learned about that I didn't know of was nutritional yeast. So I actually mentioned that in my pantry must-haves video, so go and watch that. But basically, nutritional yeast is like a particular item that you can use to make any of your dishes cheesy. It gives that cheesy flavor, which you're missing because you're not including dairy items in your meal. So basically, I just had to transition things out of my kitchen and then start moving things in slowly. I didn't go to the grocery store and just buy everything. Every now and again, I would just pick up certain things. I would go to some of my favorite stores. Like Publix does have a lot of the items. Whole Foods, I would go there. Earth Fare, when they were still open. And you know, Fresh Market, things of those places will have the specialty items that you're looking for. But don't feel like you're spending a lot of money. You're really not. You are going to spend money on some of the more expensive items, but you're going to use it to the point that it's basically worth the purchase. But overall, being plant-based is very inexpensive. I would say a majority of the items that I purchase are not costly at all. I really just buy a lot of like rice and pasta and beans and fresh vegetables. I go shopping maybe twice a week just because, you know, I never really know what I want to eat. But as far as bulk items, mostly bulk items is like rice and beans and things like that. But if it's just me making up a meal throughout the week, you know, those ingredients, I would have to go and buy them fresh. I really just wanted to share this with you guys because I'm super excited and I'm so proud of me to even make it to 5 years. And I just feel like it's just such a blessing to be in this position and really educate so many people that I've encountered. You know, now I get a lot of people asking me, you know, why did you start? And that's really why I wanted to make this video. Again, I'm really excited that, you know, I've made it this far. I think it's important to be fearless, as I try to talk about so much when I'm making these videos, is that you can't be afraid to try new things. You can't be afraid to get out of your box. You can't be afraid to jump into something new. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that I've answered some of your questions as far as, you know, why I started a plant-based journey and how it came to be. And, you know, of course, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message. My goal is to really help all of you just become fearless and Again, I'm very excited to be meeting my 5-year journey as plant-based, and I look forward to many more. I'm never going back. Never going back. Okay? It's plant-based till I die. And that's on that. That's on period. So, thank you for watching.